Throughout NBA history, we've seen some of the greatest players who have changed the game. Some for flashy passing, some for showing powerful dunks, as well as the best 1-2 punches we've ever seen in the game. Others are known for their deadly marksmanship, as well as being transcendent in the game and showing the best at their position. Others have also come along who have changed the way the game looks today. But on this episode, we'll be breaking down one of the greatest legends to ever play the game, Larry Bird. Let's get it. YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Carl coming back at you from Golden Grimmett Productions. This time around, we're going to be breaking down the legend of Larry Bird, the hick from French Lick, Larry Legend. When I think of Larry Bird, the first thing that comes to mind is a champion, a three-time MVP, back-to-back at that note. A player with a extremely high basketball in-game IQ, someone who knew the game better than his contemporaries, the one who was able to see the game better than others were. He was a deadly marksman before Steph Curry was ever there, before Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. He was a phenomenal passer, a super underrated defender, and a super underrated rebounder as well. Someone who dominated the college ranks leading up to his iconic matchup against Magic Johnson in college, leading into him going into the NBA and basically saving the NBA alongside Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers and Boston Celtics. In this one, we are going to be breaking down the legend. I'm going to do my best to give as much information from the start of his college career, the height of his peak, and when he was in his prime, leading up to his unfortunate retirement due to back injuries and other serious injuries that led to him leaving the league. If you are new, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. It takes a lot of love, dedication, and time to put into this video. So we're going to get straight into it, man. This is Larry Legend, breaking down the legend. Get it. As a collegiate player for the Indiana State Sycamores, Larry Bird averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists over 3 years under Coach Bill Hodges. He was drafted in 1978 in the first round with the 6th pick to the Boston Celtics while still in college. He's also known to be a player who's won the Naismith Award, a 2-time consensus All-American, the Wooden Award, as well as being the 1978 through 79 AP Player of the Year. During the 78 and 79 season with the Sycamores, Larry Bird will post 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists as it led up to a 33-0 record going into that national title game against Magic Johnson. That would be the one and only blemish on Larry Bird's record that year, as he would lose that title game against Magic Johnson. That title game will birth one of the greatest rivalries in NBA history between two of the most storied players, as well as franchise in the Boston Celtics and the Lakers, between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. As they would go into the NBA, that rivalry would continue, and they would continue to have many battles as well as in the championship and upcoming years. That loss in the title game to Magic Johnson will be one of Larry Bird's driving forces coming into the league to beat his newfound rival. Going into Larry Bird's rookie year, Boston will be coming off of one of his worst seasons to date, posting a 29-53 record in the Eastern Conference, placing them at 10th. That same year, Larry's rookie year, they would go on to win 61 games, making it one of the greatest turnarounds to date for an NBA franchise in his first year. That year, Larry would go on to post 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in 82 games his rookie season and 79-80 season. He also was selected to his first All-Star game while winning the Rookie of the Year, making him one of the only players to ever do that in his career in his first year. Larry Bird's impact on Boston was almost immediate. In the first 4 to 5 years of him wearing a Boston Celtics jersey, they never placed anything lower than 61 wins for those first 4 to 5 years. And over the course of the first 9 years, they never placed anything lower than 57 wins in the Eastern Conference. They placed first in all of those years except for 82 and 83, where they placed second. After only a year in the league, Larry Bird will make his first debut in the NBA Finals against the Houston Rockets in the 80-81 season. They would end up winning eventually at 4-2. Even though Larry Bird did not win Finals MVP that year, it wouldn't take him long before he ended up getting his first Finals MVP a couple years later. After only a few short years, Larry Bird was already an NBA champion, a Rookie of the Year, an NBA All-Star, All-NBA First Team, as well as many other accolades at the time. But this upcoming stretch of Larry Bird's career will be noted as one of the most dominant stretches of NBA history. Fast forward to the 83-84 season, Bird was named the MVP, averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. In the playoffs, the Celtics avenged their loss from the year before to the Bucks, winning in 5 games in the conference finals to advance to the finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. In Game 4, the Lakers, led by Bird's college rival Magic Johnson, were on the verge of taking a commanding 3-1 series lead before a flagrant foul was committed on Kurt Rambis that resulted in a brawl and caused the Lakers to lose their composure. Boston would go on to come back and win that game, eventually winning the series, marking it as the first time that Larry Bird would defeat Magic Johnson in the finals. Bird was named Finals MVP behind 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. On March 12th of the 1984-85 season, Bird scored a career high in franchise record points in the game against the Atlanta Hawks. The performance came just 9 days after Kevin McHale set the previous Celtics record for points in a game with 56. At the conclusion of the year, Bird was named MVP for the second consecutive season behind averages of 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Boston advanced through the playoffs to earn a rematch with the Lakers, but this time they would be losing in 6 games. During the 1985 offseason, Bird injured his back shoveling crushed rock to create a driveway at his mother's house. At least partially as a result of this, he experienced back problems for the remainder of his career. Before the start of the 85-86 season, the Celtics would make a daring trade to acquire Bill Walton, a former All-Star center with a history of injury. The risk would go on to pay off though. Walton's acquisition helped Boston win a league-best 67 games. One of Bird's career highlights occurred though at the 1986 NBA All-Star Weekend when he walked into the locker room at the inaugural 3-point shootout and asked who was going to finish second before winning the shootout. On November the 27th, 1985, Larry Bird recorded 47 points to go along with 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals in a 132-124 win over the Detroit Pistons. On March 10th, 1986, Bird scored 50 points to go along with 11 rebounds and 5 assists, with averages of 25.8, 9.8 rebounds, 6.8 assists, and 2 steals per game. Bird became just the 3rd player in NBA history to win 3 consecutive MVPs. In the playoffs, the Celtics only lost 1 game through the first 3 rounds en route to a matchup against the Rockets in the finals. In Game 6 of the NBA Finals, Bird recorded a triple-double of 29 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists as the Celtics won the NBA Finals series 4-2 against the Rockets. Bird's average of 24 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9.5 assists per game for the championship round. The 86 Boston Celtics are commonly ranked as one of the greatest basketball teams of all time. In 1987, the Celtics made their last finals appearance of Bird's career, fighting through difficult series against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Detroit Pistons. In Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons with 5 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, Boston trailed the Pistons 107-106. Bird stole the inbound pass while falling out of bounds. He turned around and passed the ball to Dennis Johnson, who converted a game-winning 2-point layup. The dramatic play saved the series for the Celtics. When they reached the NBA Finals, the Celtics lost to a dominant Lakers team that had won 65 games during that year. The Celtics end up losing to the Lakers in 6 games, with Bird averaging 24 points on 44% shooting, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists per game in the championship series. The Celtics would go on to fall short in the 88 season, losing to the Detroit Pistons in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, as the Pistons made up from the heartbreak of the previous season. Between them, Bird and Johnson captured 8 NBA championships during the NBA season of 1980s all the way up until the 90s, with Magic getting 5 and Bird getting 3. During the 80s, either Boston or Los Angeles appeared in every NBA Finals. Throughout the 1980s, contests between the Celtics and the Lakers, both during the regular season and in the finals, attracted a numerous television presence. Most can say that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson both saved the NBA at that time. The regular season in-game matchups between the Celtics and the Lakers in the 88-88 season proved to be a classic, with Magic Johnson banking in an off-balance shot from near the three-point line at the buzzer beater, beating the Celtics 115-114. Later on in Larry Bird's career, after the 1987 and 1988 season, which was the highest scoring season of Bird's career, in Game 7 of the 1988 Eastern Conference semifinals against the Atlanta Hawks, Bird shot 9 for 10 from the floor in the fourth quarter, scoring 20 points in that fourth quarter and lifting the Celtics to a series-clinching victory over Atlanta, which would go on to be known as the Duel. Bird finished with 34 points, His effort helped to overcome a 47-point performance by Atlanta's Dominique Wilkins. Wilkins will remark by saying, "The basket was like a well. I couldn't miss. He couldn't miss. And it went down to the last shot of the game. Who was going to make the last shot? That's the greatest game I've ever played in or seen played." The Celtics failed to reach the NBA Finals for the first time in 5 years, losing to the Pistons in 6 games during the Eastern Conference Finals. Bird's 1988-89 season ended after 6 games when he had bone spurs surgically removed from both of his feet. Debilitating back problems and aging Celtics roster prevented him from regaining his mid-1980s form. Nonetheless, during the final years of his career, Bird maintained his status as one of the premier players in the game. In his final 3 seasons with the Celtics, Bird averaged over 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, shooting better than 45% from the field, and led the Celtics to the playoff appearances. Larry Bird as a player, as a man on the court, was one of the greatest players to ever play or pick up a basketball. His career and highlights are something to be marveled at. His playing career spanned from 1979 up until 1992. He was a 3-time champion in 1981, 84, and 86, a 2-time NBA Finals MVP in 84 and 86, a 3-time NBA Most Valuable Player from 84 to 86, a 12-time NBA All-Star, an NBA All-Star Game MVP in 1982, a 9-time All-NBA First Team from 80 to 88, All-NBA Second Team from 1990, 3-time All-NBA Defensive Second Team from 82 to 84. He also was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 1980, NBA Rookie All-Team in 1980. He also would go on to win 3 consecutive NBA three-point shooting contests from 86 to 88. Larry Bird also was the first person to average 50, 40, 90, but he also did that twice in 87 and 88, marking it back-to-back years. He was the AP Athlete of the Year in 1986, the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019, and he was named to the NBA Anniversary Team, the 50th and the 75th teams as well. Boston retired his number 33 jersey, and he was named the National Collegiate Player in 1979. He was a 2-time consensus first team All-NBA, 78 and 79, 3rd team All-American, 2-time MVC Player of the Year, and the Indiana State Sycamores retired his number 33 jersey. But Larry also achieved more outside of that as well, becoming an NBA Coach of the Year in 1998, NBA All-Star Game Head Coach in 1998, and NBA Executive of the Year in 2012. Larry would finish his career with 21,791 points, 8,974 rebounds, 5,694 assists. As one of the greatest players of all time, he can make the argument that he is the GOAT, if not one of the GOATs. Larry's talent is one that transcended his time. He was one of the players that saved the NBA at his time, and he is to be marveled and to be honored as one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. This has been Breaking Down the Legend, Larry Bird. Peace.